How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome to my build guide for my 1000 degree knife Chieftain, which is going to be my blade Vortex Chieftain, who we were attempting to kill Shaper with. Sadly, we kind of ran out of time. The league ends in about, 3-4 days. So I may end up just buying my way to Shaper. We'll see how it goes there. But this build has been wrecking reds, and it's just absolutely insane. It was made for me by one of my moderators, and we've adapted it and, made it work and all that sort of stuff since. It came with 320k sheet DPS with no gear whatsoever. I play solo self-found, so the build was based around, kind of using whatever we can find and just opting for, whatever is, a good piece. A few basic accessible pieces, like in our case, we went for a Dory's, is it Invitation or Catalyst? Catalyst. We went for a Dory's Catalyst. Took me 6-ish runs to get this thing to drop, but this thing tears through reds. I've cleared up to tier 14 with it so far in solo self-found, which means, in normal leagues it can probably go even farther. And with all of my buffs and stuff, it is pushing around 700k DPS at 10 blades, and it is a 92 level character as well. It is going to town, that's for sure. Okay, so we're going to do this in some kind of an order, hopefully. We're going to start off with the skill tree, then I'm going to cover the items, and then, Pantheons and all that sort of stuff, and then probably show you some gameplay at the end, or I may overlay some, I don't know, right here maybe, somewhere on the screen somewhere. Okay, so, into the skill tree, we are going to start off with the standard Marauder start that I like to go for, which is down through the life path here, get Warrior's Blood, go up to Heart of the Warrior. Now, the reason that I go through Diamond Skin, I need to cover this on most of my builds. The reason when I play Marauder, I go through Diamond Skin here, I take the Holy Dominion node, and I go Alira, is because I'm playing solo self-found. If you aren't playing solo self-found, you can take a different path. You can go up through Armor Master to get life regeneration. You can go Born to Fight or something like that. It's up to you. I like to go through Diamond Skin on most of my Marauder builds because all res makes life very, very easy. Considering I play solo self-found, it means I don't have to have God roll gear to be able to, survive and build my character rather decently. So, because of that, we go through Diamond Skin, and then we get the Cold and Fire res here. Now, I wish Fire res was, right here, so I could skip out on it, because we do take Chieftain, but sadly no dice there. Then we come through here, we go up, we make sure we get this life regeneration per endurance charge node. This is, a minor node that's really, really helpful. It equates to, 2 to 3% life regen, depending how many charges you have. We have, I think, 4. Grab this jewel. I've had some really good luck rolling jewels. I have a spell damage, fire damage in here right now, which is insane. Then we grab Juggernaut. We make sure to come down, get Unwavering Stance, and Battle Cry. Battle Cry is, my favorite node this patch. It is so fucking good. I get Bloodless, and then I grab the Dex node because we are playing Blade Vortex, and it's a green gem. Coming up here, we then get Barbarism, and kind of try to optimize our pathing a little bit. Go up here, make sure we get Arsonist, come up, get the other Dex node. This is eventually, grab these as needed for the build. Or you can use plus Dex gear or a Jade necklace or whatever you want to use. And then we come up, get the Tireless cluster, very useful life cluster here. Come up this way, up to Strength, get the Endurance charge, go through Devotion. Up here, get the Jewel socket, because I have a spell damage, fire damage, plus Dex in here, so that's quite wonderful. Grab the Ellie damage, Celestial Judgment for Fire Pen. I'm not using a 6-link right now, but if I were to be using a 6-link, we'd have upwards of 70 to 100% Fire Pen. It is pretty fucking mental, and Keith's an absolute unit for creating this build. But still, then we come down and grab Celestial Punishment. We did do a little bit of theory crafting on if these two nodes were worth it, but it seemed just leaving those out and putting those points elsewhere became a kind of better idea. We will, kind of build accordingly. They do decent damage, but I don't know. It panned out with the setup we've got. Then we come back, get Holy Dominion. This actually doubles up on, double dips on damage bonuses here. Because Blade Vortex is affected by physical damage as well as elemental damage. So this gives us kind of a double dip, plus it gives us elemental resist and chance to freeze, shock, and ignite. We are igniting quite a bit due to Chieftain shenanigans, which I'll get to quite soon. We come up here, get Light of Divinity. This was a one extra kind of point thing that I decided to throw in because spell damage, cast speed, and int as well. Quite nice. Grab life here, come up, retribution. This got changed recently, so it's now just 14% flat damage, so it's absolutely insane. AoE, amplify, and we come up. We were originally going for quick recovery here. That's where my next points are going. You can kind of drop the quick recovery node, maybe take the fire damage there or something, I'm not entirely sure. But then from here we go straight up. This is my recommendation, is like, if you want a leveling skill tree, get Battle Cry, and then rush your way up here as fast as possible. Like, ignore this kind of side pathing shit, just go like straight up here, and then through all of this, and up over to here, to get Avatar Fire. Because I'll cover Avatar Fire in about 3 seconds, but that is very, very important. So I go from here, get the intelligence node, you know, dex as needed, get LE overload, 40% LE damage, just pretty much permanently, because we don't have any crit reductions, we're not using LE focus or anything, so we can crit all the time. Shield charge can crit, or Blade Vortex can crit, you know, extra LE damage is always nice. Come over, fire damage and AoE, cast speed with fire damage, etc, etc. Up here, Avatar Fire, very important keystone, and then Holy Fire with damage and damage here. Now the reason this is so important is 50% Fizz, Cold, and Lightning damage converted to fire damage, deal no non-fire damage. So get this secondary to the other point. So you want to get Avatar Fire at about the same time as you get your Chieftain unlocked, because you want to get Nagamu's Flame Advance as your very, very first Ascendancy point, because this makes it so that you can get 50% of Fizz damage converted to fire, as well as 10% Fire Pen, and a massive DPS steroid every few seconds. So make sure you get this as your first point in Ascendancy, or in your Ascendancy, and then rush to Avatar Fire as fast as humanly possible to go to town. I'll get back to the Ascendancy in about 3 seconds. From that, we can go over to the right here. We get spell damage, cast speed, and intelligence, and then we get some life through here. Get Deep Wisdom to path up to the AoE nodes, because everything else is kind of meh. You can get the crit strike maybe if you wanted to. Thinking now we could maybe opt, instead of going this way, the AoE, to go this way, to get greedy as fuck, to get fire damage, LE damage, and then go out this way. Would probably be the same amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So if you wanted to take this route instead, you could actually skimp a point here. Maybe put it into extra fire damage. So if you want to take the more damaging route, go for that. If you want the more AoE cleary route, go for this route. I don't know, I haven't really messed around with that one yet. It could be something as well. But then from there we get Cruel Preparation, and we come up to get Heart of Flame for fire damage. And I believe, yeah, that's pretty much where we kind of capped it out. I don't remember. We probably take the next points into Breath of Flames and stuff here, but I think I was going for a little more survivability, because I was trying to get deeper into the delves and stuff. So going back to the Ascendancy, first point is Flame Advance, second point is, I think I went to Wahoo's Forest Strength. Yeah, okay, so I went first point here, second point here, third point here, and then fourth point was Death Fury here. Because you want Forest Strength for fire damage per endurance charge, because it's fucking ludicrous. And then max life per charge, this combos with the other max life, regen per charge. So you're getting 7% per charge, or 0.7% per charge, which is nuts. You also get endurance charges on killing, burning enemies and stuff. So Enduring Cry isn't really as needed, but I like living, so. And then Ramako's Sunlight is massive and solo self-found because it's 100% fire res, which means you can gear very easily. So I grabbed that third, and then fourth was Death Fury. Now the other reason I grabbed a Ramako's Sunlight is going to combo with my items, which I'm going to cover in literally 2 seconds when I remember what the Keybind is because I have a Wise Oak. I got this in like my first or second SSF character, and it makes it so I can penetrate 13% more resist of whatever my highest uncapped resist is. So to put that simply, I have 161% fire res, so as a result I get 13% extra fire pen whenever I turn this flask on, which is pretty fucking nuts. And you'll see that my lightning res is uncapped. Whenever I kill stuff and I put endurance charges up, I get all res from the charges. I don't remember exactly from where, but we get all res from the charges anyways, and that makes us a very, very tanky man. So we don't have to worry about resist as much, and we can kind of factor around that. Let me throw these back in here. And now we shall cover my items. Now, this spot here is always subjective. I am in solo self-found, because it avoids the whole conversation of, oh, you could have just bought all this good shit. Yeah, no, I couldn't have. But this is what I found so far, and I've made it work all the way up to tier 14. So if you have access to buying really overpowered shit, I'm sure you'll be more than fine. So we have a Dory's Catalyst. It took about 6 runs to get. It was kind of a pain in the ass because I got the Flask 4 times, and the Flask does nothing for this build at all. But that's just how it is. I'll cover the gem setup afterwards. The shield, we have a Lion's Eye Remorse. This gives you a nice chunk of flat life, which is absolutely incredible. I was messing around with a different shield. You can see it in the background here. It gives you 50% spell damage and something like that. I was messing around with that to, you know, try and get more damage and that sort of stuff. But as I got deeper into maps, I decided to opt for more survivability. When you're early in maps and doing early clears and stuff, I have a second scepter over here that rolled quite well. Let me find it. This was the main scepter I was using before I got my invitation. And after I got my invitation, I dual wielded this for spell damage, fire damage, and ele damage. Because Blade Vortex is affected by all of those, and it's fucking insane. So I dual wielded this with this thing and just tore the entire world apart. But the problem was I had to use Flame Dash, and I couldn't get Fortify, and you know, so when you push later into maps and stuff, or into the later reds and that sort of stuff, using a shield for Fortify and shield charge and stuff is very, very beneficial and highly, highly recommended. Which is why I have a shield charge with Fortify and faster attack set up in there. So that's my shield. My helmet is a Hrimnor's Resolve. I had 2 of these drop in the same day. It was pretty damn funny. 37% increased fire damage, plus 64 max life, plus cold res, and can't be chilled or frozen if you used the fire skill recently, which the Blade Vortex doubles over as a fire skill. So this is a very, very useful piece with a shit ton of damage. My chest piece is a Carcass Jack, because that gives me AoE, area damage, and all resist, max life, that sort of stuff. You could maybe fuck around with like getting a, what is it, like a pseudo 6-link pair of gloves and putting a Combs Heart here. If you're really looking to min-max, you could do some insane shit like that. But this piece worked because it dropped for me and I got very, very lucky. My rings are just 2 average rings that I rolled with fire damage. They're resist rings to, you know, solve resist problems. They have max life and fire damage on them. Nothing really major, but, you know, fire damage percent from Scorched Fossils, and they are on resist bases, so that's wonderful. We have Deirdre's Tenure for 55% increased spell damage. Absolutely fucking ludicrous when I got these. It was great. My belt is fire damage, max life, double res, with strength and an Abyssal Socket. The Abyssal Socket is strength, max life, mana regen. I was contemplating trying to search for a Onslaught plus life plus strength here, but no real luck there. This doubles over as like 35 max life because strength converts to max life, etc, etc. But yeah, so that's my belt. It's quite wonderful. My shoes I've been using on multiple characters this whole league. Plus 89 max life, cold res, lightning res, move speed. These are very, very wonderful. And honestly, I don't think they're worth a slam, but they have open prefixes, so maybe. But I have spare currency. Alright, gem setups. We have a Warlord's Mark, Enduring Cry, and Blasphemy in here. This is just a spot for the Enduring Cry. It's really just a Warlord's Mark Blasphemy setup. That is the curse that I run personally. It does work. It's basically how I sustain all of my mana and my life and that sort of stuff, and basically makes me immortal when I have 10 stack blades and don't have to worry about anything. Very, very nice. And Enduring Cry, you can switch this for Rally. I tried Rally as well. I found that I had, like, you know, so much fucking damage that I didn't really need Rally, so I just put on Enduring Cry and just went to town. Just never died, and we were good to go. In my helmet, I have Blood Rage, I have Stone Golem, I have Cast on Damage Taken, I have a Vol Haste here. Now, the Vol Haste can go pretty much anywhere, but the reason for this setup is I don't like having to remember to press Blood Rage, because I keep always forgetting it every time I do. So I just CWD Blood Rage and I CWD Stone Golem. These are both max leveled as well, so I only need to put Blood Rage and my Golem up like once every now and then. So that should be fine. The Golem gives me a nice chunk of life regeneration, making me very tanky. You can use a Flame Golem here if you want to, but you know, choose accordingly. The chest piece links is Combustion, Increased Duration, Added Fire, Blade Vortex, or Vol Blade Vortex, Immolate, and then this last slot would be Fire Pen, but since it's not, it's a self-cast Phase Run, because Phase Run plus Adrenaline Quicksilver makes you a very fast man, and you do a lot of zooming around. Especially, like, what you can do is you can put up all 10 blades, and you just hit both of them, and you just go very fast through the entire world. But do remember to shield charge every now and then, because otherwise you're going to lose Fortify and get smacked by porcupines and die. Had that happen before quite a few times. Okay, other setups. I have an increased duration, elemental focus, burning damage, Vol RF. Now this may seem very, very weird, but Vol RF is actually like insanely fucking busted. It's great. If you read the bottom of that tooltip there, it says grants 39% more spell damage. That's while it's on. So essentially what you do is you put up Vol Haste, you put up your 10 stacks of Blade Vortex, you throw down your Vol RF, and you drop your Vol Blade Vortex, and you rush into the boss. And the boss just gets fucking disintegrated in about 3 seconds, because of all the spell damage bonuses and all the shit hitting him all at the same time. It is very, very exceptional, and is one of the better additions we've made to the build. It is absolutely nuts. It goes very, very ham. We don't use the base RF at all, because we'll just die, but we use Vol RF for spell damage bonuses. Quite nice. And then I have a CWD Molten Shell setup. This would change to War Banner in next league. War Banner or Dread Banner, I don't remember. Maybe Dread Banner. One of the two banners would go here instead. But Herald of Ash AoE is fucking mental. Herald of Ash AoE is one of my favorite accidental finds of the past, like, 6 months. It goes to town. It's great. And I think that's pretty much the setup. I covered my shield charge and that sort of stuff. I forgot to cover my necklace, which is hilarious. It's spell damage, fire damage, 20% of Fizz is extra fire. When we got this on stream, this was from one Scorch Fossil. When we got this on stream, everyone pretty much flipped their shit. And yeah, it's a pretty good item. Pretty decent damage, you know. And it grants level 22 anger because I slammed it and got extra fire damage on it. We don't have a spot for anger, but still, very, very nice. Flasks, I have Curse removal, Bleed removal, Wise Oak, Freeze removal, and then move speed. I haven't really found any other problems. You know, Ignite removal and Shock removal could be useful too, but, you know, it's whatever. That's just how it be sometimes. That is just how it be. Alright, and then lastly we have what? Pantheons? I don't really upgrade my Pantheons very much, nor really care. I'm using Lunaris for physical damage reduction and movement speed per nearby enemy. We charge into a giant pack, and I don't really need Brine King, because I have Unwavering Stance, so there's no real issue there. And I think I was going to upgrade Shikari at some point, so I just kind of threw this on. Rusalala's not bad if you're doing boss fights and stuff. Grithkohl's pretty decent as well as Relikesh is decent if you're doing lab, you know, pick accordingly. But Tukahama's probably the better option, because while you're charging up, you're stationary entirely. So, you know, if you're charging up in a pack, it's probably the better option for you. Alright, let's run a quick, map to show you guys, just in case I didn't overlay any gameplay anywhere. Let's run a, sort of an 11, why not? Alkit, any problems? Less recovery rate of life and energy shields, kind of a bitch, but whatever. Shouldn't really be an issue. Alright, should be good. Let's roll. Now I'm going to do this quickly, and I'm going to fully cover all the intricacies of how I play the build when I do the gameplay, which should be following this, hopefully, depending on the sort of situation of what the recordings are like and such. Alright. But, yeah, in the gameplay I will be covering pretty much everything, but you can see it just rips through the map without really caring. I'm not even on 10 stack blades either, because I don't really have fast enough attack speed, or cast speed, sorry, to maintain 10 blades permanently. But you can see, at like 3 blades, I'm killing T11 mobs, which is pretty fucking mental. Pay a little bit of attention, because the build isn't the tankiest thing in the world, but it gets the job done, and it doesn't die very often. Hell, I've made it to 92, so it should be more than fine, but it does require a little bit of attention to be paid, but not very much. But you can see the kind of general gist of it. 2 to 3 blades, and you can literally kill tier 11 maps. It's pretty fucking easy. And then just amp it up, and then you run for about 3 screens. Just run for about 3 screens here, watch this number disappear, and then you stop and you put them all up again. You know, standard Blade Vortex style of stuff. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, and pretty fucking deadly at that. That is going to be my Blade Vortex 1000 degree Chieftain. I don't think I missed anything. Pretty sure I didn't miss anything, other than, like, you know, covering the path of building stuff, which we're at like 600, almost 700,000 damage. Here's a calculation screen, if it's something you want to see. I know this scares a lot of people, but if you would like to see my calc screen for the build, it is right here for you. Very in-depth, very wonderful. You can see Avatar of Fire means nothing else does any damage, which means those 4 series flasks I got are fucking useless and makes me very sad man. But that's just how it is. But yeah, most of the build is focused around, you know, 78% chance to ignite alongside just massive fire damage. So it goes very, very fucking ham, as well as we're, you know, overcapped on resists and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that is going to bring us to the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed a look at my 1000 degree knife Chieftain that destroys the fucking planet. That's going to be all for me, and as always, take care, lads. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, take a look at the 2 pieces of content you're seeing on screen right now. If you wouldn't mind, you can click that big red button and see more updates from me. And if you want to go even further than that, then you can take a look in the description to find my new Patreon link. You boys gotta keep the lights on somehow.